What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I will be talking about the biggest risers and the biggest decliners in the NBA. So if you haven't already, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and enjoy. The first team that I want to talk about is the Oklahoma City Thunder. Last season, the Oklahoma City Thunder had the best record in the NBA with 60+ wins, but were unfortunately knocked out in just the second round by the Dallas Mavericks. To capitalize off of their success, the Oklahoma City Thunder traded Josh Giddey to the Chicago Bulls in return for Alex Caruso and also signed New York Knicks big man Isaiah Hartenstein to a multi-year contract. As I'm recording this video, the Oklahoma City Thunder had the best, or tied with the best record in the NBA with 44 wins and just 10 losses. I think that the Oklahoma City Thunder definitely have a chance to make a very deep postseason run, with them being led by MVP finalist who is having a career year, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I think they can definitely make some noise in the postseason. I just think there's one or two teams that might ruin those chances. The next team I want to talk about is a really big decliner, and that will be the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns, as I'm recording this, are barely in play-in contention right now. I think they have like 25 or 24 wins with 28, 29 losses, something like that. And the Phoenix Suns' downfall really all started when they fired their coach, Monty Williams, who just led them to a franchise record 60+ wins. And in that same season, they were knocked out by the Dallas Mavericks. I think the biggest problem that the Suns have is the team doesn't really have a direction. They traded their future away for Kevin Durant, which was a very bad move. We traded away Chris Paul in return for Bradley Beal, who might have the worst contract in the NBA right now. He has a no trade clause. So that prevented them from trading him this past deadline that just ended. And while this deadline was happening, they also made calls for Kevin Durant. So now Kevin Durant is most likely going to be moved in the offseason. So a lot of people expected the Suns to be a top contender, and right now they're just not proving that and proving why they are a contender. So I think in this offseason, the Suns, I think they are definitely trading away Kevin Durant. I don't see a reason that he would still be on the team. I think he's going to get traded to another team this offseason. I think Bradley Beal is finally going to get moved. It might not be for a significant piece, but I think he's finally going to get moved. And I think the only player that is untouchable right now in the Phoenix Suns is Devin Booker. I don't see a universe where Devin Booker gets traded from the Suns anytime soon. The next team that I want to talk about is the Los Angeles Lakers, who are a very, very big riser. Going into this season, like I said in my last video, nobody expected much from this Lakers team. A lot of people had the Lakers missing the play-in, not even getting to the playoffs. As I record this video, they are the 5th seed in the West, and just about a game back from the 4th seed. If they win tomorrow, as I'm recording this, they most likely will be the 4th seed. They have 35 wins and just 20 losses. A big reason nobody expected this much success coming from the Los Angeles Lakers is their roster. They didn't really make any significant moves in the offseason. And their head coach, they hired very rookie head coach, JJ Redick, who, like I said in my last video, has zero coaching experience, never coached anything. And he has proven that he was the right candidate for the job. In the last 10 games, the Los Angeles Lakers, this is without Luka. Prior to the Luka Doncic trade, in which he made his debut against the Jazz. In the last 10 of those games, the Lakers had a record of 8-2 and had a #1 defense and a #1 offense. Now, they did just lose in embarrassing fashion to the Jazz just before the All-Star break. But I think that this team has potential for sure to make a deep postseason run. And I don't think any team in the West, besides the Oklahoma City Thunder, can eliminate them from the playoffs. And if they do make it to the finals, I think I think the Celtics and the Cavs are the only teams that can knock them off. So I think the Los Angeles Lakers are a clear favorite to win the championship if completely healthy. Another team I want to talk about is kind of, sort of a riser, but also a decliner, is the Denver Nuggets. In the last 10 games, the Denver Nuggets have played one above 500 team, and that was the New York Knicks. And sorry for that cut right there. There's going to be an edit, so you're not really going to notice it. But like I said, I think the Denver Nuggets, it's not good to count them out at all. I think they can definitely make some noise in the postseason. I just think it's going to be way more challenging than it has ever looked for the Denver Nuggets. I don't think they're not going to look as dominating as they have these past 2-3 years. I think they're probably going to make it to like the second round, and depending on who they play, I think they're going to lose in like 5 or 6. Another team that I want to talk about is the Golden State Warriors. Now, I think they're a potential riser, but I don't think it's going to meet up to the expectations that a lot of people, mainly Warrior fans, have for the Golden State Warriors. The Jimmy Butler trade, I wasn't a big favor of it, but it makes sense. It gives them a second ball handler and shot creator to take a lot of the offensive pressure off of Stephen Curry. And so far it has worked. I think they went 3-0 before the All-Star break or something like that, 3-1, something like that. I just think, because right now they're not a play-in team, so I think they're gonna have to. I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs at all. I don't think they're just gonna have a clear playoff spot. I think they're gonna have to go to the play-in, and there's a very, very high chance that they might play the Spurs or the Kings in the play-in, and I think they might lose to those teams. I think the Warriors should really consider getting ready for a very big rebuild. I don't like the Jimmy Butler trade for them. He's going to be 37, and they're going to pay him roughly like 50 or 60 million or something of that caliber. So I think it was a very questionable move, but it makes sense for that organization. It doesn't make sense in general, but for what they want to do and how badly they want to compete, it makes sense. Another team that is a decliner is the Minnesota Timberwolves. Last season, the Minnesota Timberwolves made it to the Western Conference Finals with just 22-year-old Anthony Edwards and Karl-Anthony Towns, Rudy Gobert, in that great team. But they were led by Anthony Edwards. So a lot of people had very, very high hopes for that team, thinking that they're going to maintain that success. That really hasn't been the case. They made a very questionable move in trading away Karl-Anthony Towns to the New York Knicks in return for Dante DiVincenzo and some other stuff. And the Knicks look great. Karl-Anthony Towns is a MVP finalist as I'm recording this. The Knicks have looked great. Not so well on the Minnesota Timberwolves. Right now, they only have 29 wins and are like they're like the 6th or 7th seed in the West right now. It's not looking very likely that they're going to make any really serious noise in this up-and-coming playoffs. I think it's very confusing on what they did. I'm not sure why they got rid of Karl-Anthony Towns. The report was that they didn't want to pay him his max contract because then they would be above the second apron and luxury tax and all that business savvy stuff. But it just doesn't make sense that you would trade a franchise superstar. Not many teams would do that, unless you're the Dallas Mavericks, who trade away Luka Doncic. But yeah, I think the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to have to do a lot of retooling in this offseason because I believe they have to pay Naz Reid and Nickeil Alexander-Walker to multi-year contracts. I think Rudy Gobert is still on contract for a couple years. So you have to make a lot of noise. Lastly, the team that I want to talk about is the Cleveland Cavaliers. Last season, the Cleveland Cavaliers lost in the first round, I believe. And it was a very, very disappointing season for them. A lot of fans expected them to make a lot of noise, considering they were like the third or second seed. They just had Donovan Mitchell. Everybody was healthy, and it just didn't happen. But this season completely turned it around. The first 24 games, they started off 24-0, and they have a top offense, a top defense. They're one of the best rebounding teams in the NBA. Evan Mobley has looked like a superstar in this stretch of games, and I think it's something to definitely look out for. Donovan Mitchell has looked great. Jared Allen has looked great. They just traded for a wing defensive stopper, which is something they needed in DeAndre Hunter. So that team, that's my personal favorite, besides the Los Angeles Lakers, but that's because I'm biased. But that's my personal favorite to win a championship is the Cleveland Cavaliers, because they have all the tools for a championship team. Evan Mobley is going to be a Defensive Player of the Year finalist. Darius Garland is a great offensive threat. Same with Donovan Mitchell. Jared Allen is a great rim protector and rebounder. DeAndre Hunter is guarding the wings. So I think that's one of the scariest teams in the NBA right now. But that's going to conclude the video. Thank you all so much for watching. Remember, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.